Enjoy our spine-chilling stories as you sleep, commute, or relax. If you're new, hit subscribe and share with friends and family. Let us know in the comments how we can improve. Our stories are best experienced with headphones on. Now, let's dive into today's tale.
Through the glass. Darkly, I never thought a pair of glasses would irrevocably alter my reality, plunging me into a nightmarish abyss I could neither comprehend nor escape. It began innocently enough 3 weeks ago when my escalating complaints about pounding headaches and blurry vision finally broke down my parents' stubborn resistance. Mom, of course, blamed my phone, while Dad thought I was just aping Jenny Martinez's trendy purple frames. But after my third consecutive failure to decipher the chemistry board, even Mrs. Peterson intervened, dragging them into a hushed, concerned conference after class. The optometrist's office reeked of disinfectant and stale magazines, a sterile charnel house of broken dreams. Dr. Harrison was a disconcerting surprise, not the doddering old man I expected, but a middle-aged predator with sharp, predatory features and eyes that bored through you, dissecting your very soul. He conducted the usual tests, forcing me to read increasingly minute letters, perpetually asking 1 or 2, 3 or 4, each question echoing with an insidious undercurrent. Then he introduced them. After dimming the fluorescent lights, casting the room into a sickly green gloom, he produced a set of lenses that shimmered with an unnatural iridescence, as if crafted from captured rainbows and solidified nightmares. When I questioned their bizarre appearance, he simply smiled, a chilling, bloodless curve that sent shivers down my spine. "These are special," he whispered, his voice dropping to a guttural rasp that seemed to vibrate the very air around me. "Not everyone requires them, but those who do—" He paused, his predatory gaze boring into me. "Those who do are exceptionally blessed." I should have fled, should have screamed and run, but the hypnotic quality of his voice and the strange allure of the lenses held me captive. He elaborated on how many were never permitted to perceive the world as I would with these lenses, a statement that now carries the weight of 1,000 impending apocalypses. I naively assumed he meant I'd be able to read license plates from a distance or finally differentiate individual leaves, mundane miracles of clarity. The first few days were exactly that, mundane miracles. I was enthralled by the texture of clouds, the intricate fractal patterns in wood grain, the minute detail on nutritional labels. My parents, relieved that their investment was paying off, celebrated my headache-free existence as a victory of logic over childish indulgence. But on the fourth night, the foundation shattered. I was hunched over homework when a flicker of movement violated my peripheral vision. A shadow in the corner of my room, deeper than any shadow should be, pulsed in a way that made my stomach churn. The edges seemed to warp and writhe against the natural flow of darkness, like something alive, something ancient. I dismissed it as exhaustion and too much caffeine, but the next day, the horror escalated. Shadows beneath parked cars seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting with a vile, organic rhythm. Deep within the spaces between the trees and the park, impossible geometries manifested, shapes that had no business existing in our three-dimensional realm. At lunch, I witnessed something long and serpentine slithering between my classmates' legs, but none of them so much as flinched. By the end of the week, they were everywhere, Eldritch abominations lurking in every shadowed recess, every unlit doorway, every dark crack between buildings. Some were humanoid, if humans could bend at impossible angles, and possessed too many joints. Their movements like puppets whose strings were controlled by a malevolent demiurge. Others were formless, abstract horrors, geometric patterns that pulsed with an agonizing rhythm that felt like knives grating against my sanity. And then they started to notice me, a creature composed of roiling smoke, and far too many eyes waved at me from the grocery store parking lot. A gesture of grotesque familiarity, another, a crude, childlike sketch of a human that had been drawn by a being who had never seen one, pressed its featureless face against my bedroom window, its silent, empty gaze searing itself into my soul. When I screamed, my parents came running, their faces mirroring pure, unadulterated confusion. They saw nothing. Of course, they didn't. Only I possessed the cursed sight. Then the realization struck like a physical blow. These beings weren't new. They were always there, swarming around us like parasites seeking a host. The glasses weren't creating them. They were merely peeling back the veil of blissful ignorance that shields our human eyes and allowing me to see the terrifying reality that had always surrounded us.
If you're new, hit subscribe and share with friends and family. Let us know in the comments how we can improve.